Well, welcome back to Sheltered Sages, the show where two formerly sheltered homeschoolers, now adults, take a look at the complexities of life one crazy Reddit story at a time. I am Andrew.
And I am Philip.
Very good. And boy, do we have some Reddit stories for you today.
Got Reddit stories for you today.
Oh, yeah. No, today is going to be fascinating in terms of the tales that we tell, because today we are going to be covering, well, if you're new to the show, you might not know this, but as you've heard, we call things pickle feet.
Yep.
The people who maybe not making the best decisions, a little briny, a little vinegary, leave a sour taste on your tongue. Those are pickle feet.
You know, you made a bad choice. Yeah. You're a pickle foot.
It doesn't define your whole character. You can make better choices.
Absolutely.
However, if you've been on any corner of Reddit, you know that there are people that go beyond the pickle feet.
Absolutely.
There is an entire subreddit that takes those stories from Am I the Pickle Foot and places them in another category. And we have
new collection.
We have monikered them as deviled eggs. The grossest of the gross, and this is coming from me who does not like deviled eggs, but I know other people love deviled eggs.
I love deviled eggs. I love like the actual food deviled eggs. Yeah. They're fantastic, especially when someone makes them properly. Like it's absolutely
my wife
delicious.
did make them once with candied bacon.
I think I had some of those
I think
before.
you did have those. Yeah,
those were delicious.
Those were good. I actually did enjoy that. I didn't like the yolk part of it. I just have texture problems, so that's me. I don't like it. They leave a bad taste in your mouth. You don't want to make. They're like the rotten. They're the bad deviled eggs at that potluck, and that's what today is. It is a platter of gross, awful potluck deviled eggs.
Yes, we have scoured the internet and we have found some of the worst people that we could find on these Reddits. We didn't go too deep into this. Don't get too worried.
Sadly, it does not take long to find them.
Like the internet, it's full of a lot of those kind of things. Yeah. It's full of good people as well. But right now we're going to talk about some of the bad ones that are out there. I try to be like pretty optimistic with people. You know, like everyone can change, everyone can grow.
Yeah. But as we begin to enter spooky season, I think it's very important that we think about the spooky people that we kind of sometimes encounter.
The spooky people. Just the deviled eggs. Like you're not even funny spooky. You're just mean.
You're just mean, and we don't like you.
So again, like if this is your first episode, welcome. You're probably like really confused. You probably should go back to a previous episode to figure out what it is when we're not talking about it. We're usually not this angry.
Exactly. We don't usually come with this much venom straight off the get-go, but today kind of deserves it. Yeah. And I think us setting the appropriate tone is very important for you getting in. Because if we were all happy-go-lucky, fun, and then all of a sudden we start talking about these deviled eggs, you aren't going to want anything to do with us.
No, you're not going to want to. But if this is not your first episode, welcome back. Sit back, get ready, get your like frustration ready to go, because we're going to talk about some really not great people. That's what we're doing today.
I love it.
That's the vibe. Let's go.
So without further ado, I think we should start the episode now. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, this is from a subreddit. I am not just going to be looking for the pickle feet. I'm going to a lot of different subreddits.
Okay.
And this one is from r/offmychest. Have you heard of this one?
I have not heard of this one before.
I love introducing you to new subreddits. You should check out all of these because they're fascinating.
Okay, I'll check them out.
So r/offmychest is a subreddit where basically people will share things that they want to get off their chest. Sometimes it's just confessions. Other times it is crazy stories that happen to them. Sometimes it's stories about the pickle feet and worse, the deviled eggs in their lives. Like this story right here. Boyfriend, 31 male, woke me, 34 female, up at 2 a.m. to make him dinner. I made him leave instead.
All right, let's go.
Let's get started. All right. I am seriously never dating again. No advice needed. Just want to vent, throw away for the usual reasons. So I became official with this guy a couple months ago. He was sweet, kind, funny, gorgeous, the usual stuff. Everything was fine. We'd stay at each other's places, have date nights, general relationship stuff in short. No red flags. A couple beige ones here and there, but everyone has those.
Beige ones?
You haven't heard of a beige flag?
I mean, I think I've heard of a beige one, but could you explain what that is?
So a beige flag is literally just like, they do a thing that's like, it's weird. It's not a red flag, but it's weird.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, there's a lot of like, it's like little things. It's things that are not like an actual problem. It could be just like, they like this one kind of music that's really obscure, or you know, they're really into Dungeons and Dragons, like an unhealthy. No, that's more of a red flag. They only play Madden 20. Insert current year here. Whenever you're listening to this,
like beige flag.
Like
I'd say beige flag.
Beige flags. Yeah. It's like oh, that's a unique quirk that like I don't know if I necessarily jive with, but you're a person. You're allowed to be different. So.
Okay. Cool. Okay,
that is what she saw leading up to this. But we decided to spend the weekend at my place, as his roommate can be quite loud and he needed to concentrate on fixing a system at his job so he can remotely work. Friday is fine. We stay in, and in between his workings, we do the usual couple stuff. Saturday comes and something has gone wrong and the stress is doubled. So he isn't eating anything I make, which is fine. I simply remind him that there are leftovers in the fridge. By 11 p.m., he is still working. So I head to bed. I am then startled awake by him at 2 a.m., shaking me, telling me he's hungry now. Confused, I remind him about the leftovers and turn over to go back to sleep, but he gets grumpy and tells me I need to make him something fresh now.
If this isn't a cat, then like I don't know what is. Continue.
The food bowl is empty. Yes, and you don't get food until 6 a.m. I want food now.
I am hungry now.
I am hungry now.
All right. Yeah.
I'm honestly completely confused and so sleepy while he rattles on about coconut shrimp or something. Still half asleep, I just stare at him as I try to work out what the heck is happening. I'm guessing my silence ticked him off as he started having a go at me for not doing my duty as his girlfriend.
No, he did.
He did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He did. That woke me up fully, and I told him to get out of my house. His attitude changed then, and he was suddenly apologizing, but I just repeated myself, and eventually he left the room. I followed him, picked up his stuff, put it in a bag, and once again told him to get out. He looked like a deer in the headlights. He kept trying to say sorry and hug me, and it was only then when I threw his car keys into his arms that he realized I was serious and left. This was Sunday morning. It is now Monday night, and I still refuse to speak to him. He's tried calling and texting, but I'm honestly just annoyed and dumbfounded. And I still refuse to speak to him. He's tried calling and texting, but I'm honestly just annoyed and dumbfounded. I know I'll have to speak to him at some point, but I don't want to. He's an idiot. If/when I do speak to him, I'll update. For now, I'm going to bed.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
So I'll start this off by going, you know, when you hear stories like this and you go, there has to be something that was before this where you're like, that is sketch.
How could you not see this?
How could you? Now, it's a she, right?
She, yes. 34 female.
She did preface this by saying they were going through their significant other. He was going through a tough situation. He was very stressed out. He was staying up late. He was doing stuff. So I will kind of concede that stressful situations can bring out the worst in a lot of people. Sometimes it can bring out the best, especially if you go in there, but usually it brings out the worst.
Yep.
The audacity, though. First, let me go through this. She made him dinner.
Yep.
He didn't eat it.
Yep.
So he could have eaten dinner, just heated it up, gone over and done something like that. That's the first part. Second, instead of just heating up dinner himself like a adult human being, he has decided, I need to wake up my girlfriend to do it for me.
And remind you, he is in his 30s.
Yes.
This is not some like 19, 20-year-old who is just out of the house and learning how to cook.
Oh, I don't even
not
care
saying
if
that,
it's 19 or 30, but yeah, go ahead.
Not saying that justifies it in any capacity, but like I have heard of people who like never had to cook before suddenly being like, I don't know how to cook. I know how to make mac and cheese and grilled cheese, and like that's all I know how to make.
Sure.
So to some extent, I could be like, maybe I could give a little bit of grace.
Yeah, but
not a 31-year-old adult male.
You have your own apartment, right? Like if I'm going to say this, if I didn't know how to cook something and I had my own apartment and my own refrigerator and my own oven where I could cook stuff in and microwave, like I would be apologetic to have to wake someone. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to use this microwave. Can you please help me? I'm so hungry right now and I need your help.
Yeah.
Like, that's a sad point.
Yes.
That would be a sad. But beyond that, it doesn't seem like he was sad because his next statement was, do your duty as a girlfriend. Okay, so this is the last part where I get to, and I think that's the problematic idea. He didn't learn the do your duty as a girlfriend, I think, just, offhandedly or something like that. Usually that is a familial type system, or he was raised in this idea.
Or he's watching podcasts or things like that where people are pushing that.
Absolutely.
The Dude Bro podcast.
He has that kind of running through his brain where he's like, you're supposed to make food for me. You're supposed to be able to do these things. You're supposed to continue on. The fact that at a crazy amount, like a crazy late time, he's waking her up and then demanding that she cook food for him that he could obviously do himself. And now is confused and apologetic because he realized, oh my gosh, I went too far. It's like, no, I respect her immensely for not even playing around with that. Not going, oh, maybe he's a little stressed, maybe he's a little tired. If he did this one time, he's going to do it again. Unless there's something that dramatic change. Like, again, people can change, but unless there's something dramatic, like huge, that changes and he gets help by a psychologist or something else like that, he's going to do this again. This is not the only time he's going to go do this. He's going to ask you continually, where's my food? And especially if this is what he does when he gets stressed, is it just about food? That's all he was asking you right now. I'm not even going to get into other duties that he might assume his girlfriend needs to do for him. So it's like, kick that dude out. Never talk to him again. I know I mostly say, like, let other people know that this dude is like this so that they don't get surprised like you did when he suddenly starts going in, this is the duties that my girlfriend should do.
Well, and that's the part I'm trying to, it's only a couple months into the relationship. So that's the scary part with like a couple months is it's like you can hide who you are for a couple months. Things will show. There will be slips in the crack, but like you hear stories all the time about like narcissists and things like that. And obviously I'm not diagnosing anyone, or obviously I'm not saying that he's any of those things, but it's like things can be hidden, things can be covered up, things like that for a short period of time. But like if you've only been dating a few months and this is the side, you were just kind of hitting the nail on the head where you were like, this is, what is he going to do next? And I think it is very mature of her to be like, nope, I ain't playing this game. I ain't doing this. I ain't, there's my southern. I ain't doing this. You're out. You're done. Good news is I will have an update for you. So, I have an update.
I would say, just to add in there, because I know I got really angry on that one.
I think passionate is the appropriate word.
Very passionate. This is why it's important to, before you go into a long-term commitment with another individual, ask them those questions. Really ask them, what do you think our role should be in this relationship?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people are going to laugh, like, oh, it's not that serious yet. Oh, we're not doing... No, ask, because you could run into situations like this where your boyfriend is waking you up in the middle of the night telling you to make him food. Like, you could just kick him out in the daytime and then fill his bag with stuff and then kick him out then instead of having to wake up in the middle of the night.
I don't even pull back to like when like personal story, which is like my wife and I, as we were like moving closer to getting married and things like that. So the pastor that did our premarital counseling, which I am a, regardless if you're religious or not, that does not have to be a Christian organization, that get premarital counseling before you get married and you lock in and you commit for that, because that is where we like you reveal things that you that you don't even realize are expectations. So we did this, like, I kid you not, I think it was like 100 questionnaire that we had to do separately from each other and not talk about the answers with each other. And then over the course of the next like 6 weeks, we met up with this pastor who also had like a degree in psychology and things like that. So it wasn't just a pastor who was trying to go above and beyond. They actually had training and credentials and things like that, which is important if you're going for counseling from someone like that, my opinion. But but all that to be said, there were things that we revealed that I didn't even think, like it was not huge, but it was just this idea of like, my wife thought I, as the husband, should take care of everything in the lawn.
Yeah.
And I thought that we would do it together as a group. And there were things where it was like, oh, I thought we'd do this together as a group. And she was like, oh, that's my job. Or like things like that. So it was very interesting, not in a bad way of like, you know, this is a deal breaker. But it was very eye-opening to me to be like, hey, sometimes we come in with expectations that we don't even realize are an expectation. That suddenly when someone like the conversation happens, then it's like, oh, this is a thing. And so I think like when you were talking about that, like that's where I think it's really, really important. Get to know the people. Like especially like for people, I think one of the first few questions that you should ask, whether you're on a first date or a second date when you get to know a person, is like, you know, what are your plans for the future? Are you wanting to have kids? Like those kind of questions that are like, yes, deep questions. But those are questions that you're going to use to fish around to see if this person is a good match for you. If this person is going to meet your values and your goals and things like that. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that when the minute that realized that she didn't stick around, she didn't play around, she was like, go.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
So do you want to hear the update?
I would love to hear the update.
Because I think it's going to make you a little bit more upset.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Right. I'm already upset. Let's go.
Well, update. This was the next day. So she said, that's a lot of notifications. Thank you for your overwhelming support. Glad to know I'm not the only one who thinks this is stupid. Also, to the ones who said I should have just done it or agreed with the man-child, thank you. I needed a laugh today. Yeah, people on Reddit are wild. People on Reddit are wild. I know. I'm so glad she didn't. On to the update. He came into my job to talk and explain that his friends saw a video of a woman being woken up to cook for her man, and they decided to test it out on their partners as a loyalty test.
That's a lie. Or me, it could be true. It could be true, but that's just stupid. Continue, sorry.
So my initial judgment of him being an idiot was correct. He was surprised when I broke up with him, but he was calm and accepting, albeit sad. Either way, that's over with. Now, to answer a few concerns. Nope. No illegal substances, just bad judgment. No mental health concerns. Yes, he's stressed, but it's surface stress. That'll be fine once his work hires some new people, I'm sure. Honestly, not my concern anymore. Someone mentioned unconditional love. The relationship was less than 3 months. Chill out. Seriously, though, thank you for even taking the time to read my sleepy ramblings. I'm going to buy myself a nice bottle of wine once I finished work as a thank you to myself for not settling. Until next time. Yeah.
It frustrates me that not everyone who saw this was completely on her side and saying, yes, you kick him out. Because of that, I feel like I need to clarify a little bit more. For those who are listening to this story and thinking, it is her duty to go over and cook him food at, what time was it at night?
2 a.m.
2 a.m. It's her duty to get up and reheat the food for him at that late portion. I don't think I need to clarify this for most people. I hope not. Your significant other, whether male or female, is not here on this planet to serve you.
Preach.
And so at any point in the time or their lives, if there is a duty that they are supposed to give to you, it is to love you, as is their commitment. Now, beyond that, what they are going to give or not give you is up to them.
Yes.
Because as a human being, you have your own autonomy to be able to do what you want. Now, I will say, just as a very specific situation, if your significant other is sleeping, unless you have had already explained to them that you are going to wake them up at a certain point and they have agreed to this situation, do not wake them up. And definitely do not wake them up so that they can do something that they have not agreed to do for you. Because not only is that rude, it is also just so selfish, self-centered, and just stupid that, like, if your significant other doesn't break up with you, I'm going to just go out on a limb there. You should probably break up with them because, that's not good. That's not good at all for either of you.
Yeah.
For that to happen. That's not cool.
Yeah, I'm going to share a story of when it is great to wake someone up at midnight for food. No, this is a great story.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I promise. This is from my own life. Okay, so when we first moved to Central Florida, we were living in this house with like upstairs and downstairs, and one of my dad's favorite things is on his birthday every year, my mom tries to make him apple cobbler because that's like one of his favorites. It's apple cobbler or... They had stayed up late because my mom wanted to make it for him for his birthday, and she was making it for the night before with the intention of us having it for breakfast the next day.
Yeah.
Well, and he like was talking about it, and it was done, and he's like, "Well," I was like, "Oh, I should have some." He's like, "No, you need to wait for the rest of the family so that we can all have it together." He's like, "Okay," and then he went at midnight or 12:30, woke us all up. He's like, "Guys, come on, get up, get up." I'm like, "What is happening?" And he's like, "Apple cobbler," and I'm like, "What? What?"
So, it's apple cobbler time. How could you not know? Get up.
It was on the weekend, I think, and literally he just like woke us all up. He's like, "We're having apple cobbler." I'm like, "Dad, it's midnight." And he's like, "We're having apple cobbler."
I respect that.
And I'm like, "Okay, that is an appropriate time to be woken up." Like, and that's the thing. If he had woken up his girlfriend and been like, "Hey, I missed you, and I wanted to share some ice cream with you. You don't have to get up, but I would love to have just like a bowl of ice cream with you. Would you want to get up with me?" Very different conversation we've been having.
My wife would still probably murder me, but mine would, maybe, yours might not. Maybe not. My wife would murder me.
It would depend on if she worked a lot, if it was like the weekend. Like that's the thing. It was the weekend. So at the very least, like I don't have to be at work in the morning, but also like don't wake me up at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
For something not an emergency.
That's
so
fair.
That's fair. Like can we back to though the partner or the loyalty test? Because, like, I hear this talked about, like, I obviously listen to lots of podcasts and things, and I've heard this come up at times, and I'm just like, why are you putting your relationships to a test? So I don't think that we should be intentionally testing relationships. I don't think we should be, like, poking and prodding and seeing how far we can push something. I think that life is going to test the relationship regardless. And there are going to be moments where, hey, I think a natural, I don't even want to say loyalty test. I just say a natural test is how does your partner treat you when you're sick? Okay. Does your partner look at you and just tell you suck it up? And or do they take an extra step to see if like, hey, do you need me to get something for you from the store? Do you need me to get some medication? Do you need me, do they go a little bit above and beyond to be like, hey, I can see you're not fully there. Not obviously saying that you deserve to be waited on hand and foot while you're sick.
That's fair.
I don't want to say that in any order because like obviously we could get into the conversation of the man flu and all this other kind of things. But does your partner recognize and I'm saying partner, like, do you do this for your partner? Does your partner do this for you? Do you do this where you're recognizing that, hey, they're not in a tip-top shape. I'm going to go above and beyond in this moment to help them out because they're not in a best state. And she did. She did that. She could tell if she was stressed. She made him dinner. She put it in front of him. He couldn't eat it. She put it away for leftovers, let him know where it was. Yeah. She did that.
Yeah. You're correct, I feel. And it's not, you should not, like, push your partner in a loyalty test or push your partner in something like that, even prank, especially if it's not consensual where you're doing this and they understand that it's a test in that way. It's just mean. Like, don't do that. But what I'm thinking about more is those, it's called something like bids for affection.
Oh, yeah,
which
absolutely.
happen in relationship often, whether subconsciously or consciously. I think, I don't know fully how it is, but from what I'm understanding, it's a lot of times a subconscious almost thing where you're going over, let's say you're like, hey, I'm allowing my partner to do this certain thing for me because it's allowing them to show their affection towards me. And I'm doing the same thing for them where like, you know, if I cook something for them here, it's not that I'm expecting them to cook something for me, but it's a bid for affection. If they go, thank you, then I'm getting something back in that way. Yeah. And it's not like a transactional type situation, but continuing to push those bids to see, okay, I am showing you love and you're showing me love, and we continue to go that kind of back and forth allows that relationship to continue.
But I think the interesting thing with that is that you're talking about serving each other.
Yes.
That's the wild, like your and I think there are other examples of bid for affection, which I'll get into, but like your example is literally like, I do something for you and then because you love me and I have the overabundance of that love for me, you do something for me and vice versa. And it's kind of this like beautiful cycle that kind of happens. And again, I think it's very dangerous to see a relationship as transactional or as like, you have to do something because I did it. Like, no, that's not what happens. No. There are going to be days where I'm going to need more than I can give and vice versa, where I need to give more than I need. And I think that's mature. That's looking at it with that realism. But another side of like the bids for affection too is it's like I do recognize like some of them are like, hey, this is something that's important to me, and I want like I'm showing this to you because I want you to like see that this is important to me, and I want to see how you respond to that, and that is similar to like a unconscious test of where you're just like, hey, this is important to me. Do you want to join me? Yeah. And like, hey, this is something that like, yeah, it's not something you might love, but I love doing this and I want to do it with you. Will you do this with me? And so it's like watching that TV show that you don't love, but it's the show that your wife loves. So you go and sit down, or your partner loves. Yeah. It's those things where you are intentional about going that above and beyond. Yeah.
And it seems like OP has gone above and beyond for their ex-partner there. Yes. And their partner still wanted more. Yeah. Not even more than just, you know, what they were getting there. They wanted their significant other, their girlfriend, to do even more than she had already done. Yes. At 2 a.m.
Yeah, just kick those people to the curb, respectfully. Especially if it's only been 3 months. Like, I definitely think it's one of those things that, like, if this would be a very different conversation if they were married. Yeah. Like, this would be y'all need therapy, y'all need counseling, y'all need to set up some boundaries, and we're going to have to work through these things. But if you're only dating for 3 months, goodbye. Go away. Shoo. Not worth your time. Find someone better. Yeah. Or no one. Enjoy being single. Yeah. There's benefits to it.
There you go.
But yeah, so that is our first, and I feel official, deviled egg.
There we go.
As well as all of his friends who also were like, oh, you should do this loyalty test.
Absolute deviled egg. Don't ever do this. If you heard this story and you're like, oh, I've done this before, apologize to the person you did it to. And if you're thinking about doing it, don't do it. This is us telling you not to.
You're not. This is an official. If you need a sign not to, this is the sign. Stop.
We're gonna get back to deviled eggs. That's what we're talking about here. Okay.
Angry.
You ready for my story?
Disappointed. Let's go.
Okay. Here we go. The title is My 34 Female. Are they 34 in that one?
Yeah,
too?
they are.
Oh, wow. Okay. My 34 female husband, 34 male, screamed at our daughter just for singing Golden. How do I get him to realize it's not okay?
How dare he?
You ready? It's a short story.
I'm already mad because I love Golden and I could sing that all day. Continue.
Okay. Before we continue, just a trigger warning for yelling and
verbal abuse, honestly.
Yeah, I would say verbal abuse towards individuals. So before we read this story, I met my husband 12 years ago and have been married for 7 years. He's generally a sweet and kind-hearted person and is usually fun to be around. We have a 6-year-old daughter who's also terrific. Lately, her favorite film is K-pop Demon Hunters.
As it should be.
And absolutely loves singing the songs, especially Your Idol and Golden. She memorized all the lyrics. I know her constantly singing it can be a bit annoying, but I used to drive my parents crazy singing songs from The Lion King, so I didn't mind too much. My husband, however, hated that film, and I tried to encourage her to sing only when he's not around.
I'm sorry, I have to pause right then and there. That's the biggest red flag so far. So we talked about it in our music episode, but if you have not seen K-pop Demon Hunters, unless it's for religious reasons and you don't feel comfortable watching it, which I totally respect, you should watch that movie. It's phenomenal. It's only PG. It's great. It's a great story. The music is bopping. The animation is amazing. There's no reason you should not like it. The only reason I can understand you not enjoying this if you don't like musicals. That could be like the one thing that I could see. And even then, you should be able to find some stuff you enjoy.
Or animated films.
Okay, but then you just need to not...
I know people who don't like animated films.
How can you... But then you have no joy. Like, I feel like, how do you have any joy in your life if you can't enjoy animated films?
I ask that question often of these people. But yes, goodness. I know them personally.
Okay, well, that's a whole other conversation for another time. But that's my first problem with this person. Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're
Please
good.
continue.
Okay. So, my husband, however, hated that film, K-pop Demon Hunters, and I try to encourage her to sing only when he's not around. Yesterday, though, once she sung Golden, he flipped out and screamed at her and warned her not to sing anything from Demon Hunters anymore. I tried to calm him down, but he accuses me of lying to myself and says I secretly wanted it to stop and that he's the brave one enough to do something about it. As a result of his screaming, she won't talk to him. So, the original poster says, how do I get him to realize that it's not okay to scream and to apologize?
Sorry, I am feeling things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is. So not only verbal abuse towards a child, but on top of all of that, we have gaslighting because we're saying, I'm the brave one. You secretly want this to stop too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just the brave one who finally did something about it. Okay. That's terrible.
Yeah. And,
oh, gosh, that makes me mad, dude.
Yeah.
Why do we do this episode? Like, I'm just heated. It's the thing that makes me the most upset is that, like, it's a kid being a kid.
Yes.
And here's the biggest thing that I saw right off the bat that concerned me is mom's answer to singing her singing the song is, hey, just do it when dad's not around. And that's a huge red flag for me of how many things do you have to do when husband, dad is not around because he doesn't like it? How much of your life do you have to modify because so-and-so doesn't like it?
Yeah.
And that you have to change for this person.
Yes.
So that was like my big, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah. When I read this story, it just brought me back to when I was younger. And of course, me and my siblings were all homeschooled. So we were almost always together. Whenever there was a new movie or a new music that was there, we would play the same stuff over and over. I will say my little brother loved Christmas music. And I did not like it only because, there's like 4 big Christmas songs. And then there's just different versions of those 4 big Christmas songs, and they play them over and over again. And he liked to play them nonstop. So I got very frustrated with it. But beyond that when I got frustrated, we would sing these songs over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I know my parents would probably get tired when we were driving in the car to different places or we were sitting at home and doing stuff like that. But I cannot remember a time when my parents ever yelled at us for singing and having fun with these songs. Sometimes they're like, hey, can you guys be quieter right now? So we wouldn't, but never like, don't ever sing this song again.
And like, not even like just, hey, stop singing it, but like screaming.
Yes.
Like that is where we overstepped.
Yes.
Because that's one of those things that I am very passionate about. And I talk about it with people all the time, especially like, it's an interesting conversation that sometimes I have with adults, especially people from like older generations, where like, it's this reality of, you are responsible for your emotions at all times. And I know that's hard for some people. And I understand that's frustrating, especially if you grew up in a household where like you had to tiptoe so that you didn't make so-and-so upset or you didn't get so-and-so angry. It's like, I know it's hard in that mentality to be like, oh, well, I had to do that for them, so you should have to do that for me.
Yes.
And I understand that that's where it probably potentially comes from. Mm-hmm. But and there's a lot of science. I obviously don't have the full training or anything like that, but when I had to go through PTSD therapy when I worked at the sheriff's office, I think I've talked about this before, but being a 911 dispatcher for 5 years, you pick up a little bit of trauma. And so like I got angry. I was getting and people who like, me, I'm not an angry person. No. And like people who knew me in my life were like, this is not normal for you. This is not you. And I was just like, well, I just have an awful job. And so you're just going to have to suck it up. And it was through going through that process and through recognizing that like, hey, there are times where it is appropriate to be angry. You see something evil happening in the world and you get mad at it. That is a appropriate response because of the injustice that you're viewing.
Yes.
anger at something that is not worthy of that response is a negative thing. And you have to be the one to check yourself, to recognize, hey, I'm mad at this situation and I don't have a right to be mad right now. Or maybe I do have a right to be mad because I asked this person to stop and they didn't. And that is frustrating to me. But also, this is a 6-year-old child who is going to struggle to remember not to sing a song that you asked them to stop singing.
Yeah.
You do not get the right to scream at them because of that.
No. And what... Even people who might think, okay, well, I got really frustrated in this one moment and I just like exploded because I never liked that movie to begin with and I don't like that song, so I'm just going to tell her, stop singing because she knows it. One, she's 6.
Yep.
Okay? You understand that for your however many years, 34 years, she has 6 of those.
Yeah.
So K-pop Demon Hunters is a large part of her entire existence.
I think it's a wild part. I'm going to cut you off for just a second because I think it's a wild part. Sometimes I have to remember that where it's like school felt like when we were kids, like the school year. I don't know if you did full year-long schooling or if you like did follow the traditional school year, but it felt so long. And it's like you're like an adult, I'm like, oh, it was such a short period of time in my life, but it wasn't. Like you had maybe 4 or 5 years where you were not doing school. And then after that, you were just doing school. And those years scroll on by. And then it's like, and then as you now are becoming an adult and look back at it and you're not, like you're moving on to other stages, then time starts to seem to move faster because those, like the percentages of time that you were doing these things were smaller and smaller and smaller. So like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
Continue.
you're good. But yes, because of that, it's like this is her excitement. She's having fun. She's enjoying it. It's not even like she's doing this to annoy you. She's not doing this to be disrespectful. She's just doing this because it is fun for her. And then you going over and let's say like falling apart over this entire situation. In the same way where K-pop Demon Hunters is a very large part of her life, this now has become a large part of her life. Where she gets to remember that her father screamed at her over singing a song when she was having a good time.
Yep.
And so it's like beyond whether you feel you were correct or not and having these feelings, you do realize that you have affected her in such a deep and scarring way that I don't care anymore how you felt in that moment.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Your actions did not your feelings did not justify the actions that came out from that.
No.
And that's where it's like, I think that, and especially, and like, and this is one of the things that you have to be really careful of. If you are someone who believes that I shouldn't have to be, like, people should not be doing things to make me upset. And if they didn't do those things, I wouldn't be upset.
No.
You have to be very, very careful of recognizing that, like, yes, you have every right if someone is intentionally frustrating you and if it's intentional. But, like, and I think about it myself. I was a kid who had, like, undiagnosed ADHD. The amount of things that I know I did that frustrated my parents that didn't make sense to them as to why I couldn't figure it out.
Same here. Yeah.
Was, I'm sure, astronomical. But now looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, of course I couldn't remember to turn off the lights. Like, I, as an adult who has to pay the electric bill, and that was what was always the argument, was like, well, once you start paying this bill, you're going to start thinking about it. I'm like, no, I still leave the lights on. I still leave the TV on when I'm not taking my medication because I genuinely, it's not something that sits in my brain. Yeah. And so, again, no ill will towards my parents in that regard, because I recognize that, like, that's frustrating when you're an adult and when you don't have that to be like, looking out from the outside in and being like, well, it just looks like you're being disrespectful and it just looks like you're being lazy and you're not doing the follow through. But the reality is there's more going on. Yep. And I think you really hit, I keep saying, I love that phrase, hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head.
Great aim.
But it's true, because, like, you're like, this is going to now be, like, if you think about, like, another animated film that the Dead probably hated, like the way that Inside Out did Core Memories.
Yes.
This is going to be a core memory that she will not forget. Yes. Or if she does forget it, it's because her brain is going to repress it because it was so traumatizing to her. And it's going to affect her down the line.
Yeah.
If this father does not take the steps to remediate. So like to fix the situation and to repair his relationship with his daughter, that is potentially something that is going to leave a tear. And she is anytime she loves something, she's going to be terrified about enjoying it because she's just going to remember the time that when she enjoyed something so much, her dad screamed at her.
Yes. Yeah, and for this mom as well.
Yeah.
Like, I feel...
We're talking a lot about the dad.
Yeah, I feel for the mom as well. Like, I get it, especially if she also grew up in a household where that patriarch was in control, and whatever was happening in the house is through whatever their viewpoint is. You don't get too loud. Don't make dad upset. Don't make dad is working hard. He's gone through a long work day. Leave him alone. Don't annoy him. I can understand her feeling a certain way about it, but it's also like, you've got to realize these things have trends. Look at how if you lived in that kind of situation, behave towards your parents. And that's where I kind of finally got to. Beyond anything else, I see a lot of times where these parents go, I gave them a good life when they were younger. I gave them everything that they wanted. Why don't they want to talk to me now when they're older?
Yeah.
When they're and then these kids who I've talked to who are now adults, they're like, well, when I was singing this song when I was younger, my parents yelled at me. Or they told me that I had to go to my room because they didn't want to see me right now. And they're surprised when at a certain point their kid is like, I'm leaving. Well, why are you leaving? Because for the longest time you said I couldn't be me in your house. I couldn't do what I wanted in your house. And so in order to be free from that, they have to separate. And no wonder they don't want to talk about it later on. No wonder they don't want to go back to that one, because you for the longest time felt that the way to show your love, I'll even say you might even think it's love, is through control instead of respecting it. Instead of the father understanding why his daughter really liked this movie that he didn't like, he just decided, it's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Instead of him trying to understand why she continues to sing it and asking that question, even to a 6-year-old. You might think, well, 6-year-old's not going to understand. 6-year-olds know a good bit.
I work with some 6-year-olds that are incredibly smart and incredibly in tune with their thoughts and emotions and feelings and stuff like that. I think the other thing that's hard, and I do want to also preface this because we've been bashing the dad a lot, and I do think there's some validity to it.
Okay.
But I want to say that, like, I also recognize that being a parent is hard.
That's true.
I want to make sure that I take a step back for the bashing to acknowledge that being a parent is difficult.
That's true.
I see where the mom is coming from with trying to be like, hey, how do I repair this relationship? How do I fix things?
Yeah.
I think she has a genuine good heart, and she sees her daughter and she sees the pain that she's in and is trying to fix it. But I think the sad reality is it was the question that she said at the very end where she was like, how do I help my husband see? Can you read the last thing? It was like,
how do I get him to realize that it's not okay to scream and to apologize?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he is a 34-year-old man. It is not your responsibility at that age for you to get him to see that what he did was hurtful and immature. You can try. I think you should try and talk to him. I think you should definitely try and encourage him, have a sit-down talk with him, tell him what's happened, tell him that these are the consequences of what happens and things like that. But you are not going to get him to see things from that perspective. He has to recognize that he made the mistake. He has to recognize that he overstepped the boundaries, and he has to recognize that he was being the deviled egg in that scenario.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's like, it's that ownership is like, I think it comes from that, like, oh, I have to fix this. I have to be the mender of the relationship. I have to repair it. But that's actually not your full responsibility. You aren't responsible for making your husband see what he did was wrong.
Where I hesitate on that one as well is, and this is the last thing I kind of wanted to bring up with this, which is kind of a heavy way to end it, but I think we can bring it around to something nicer. She didn't say, how do I get him to realize that yelling at my 6-year-old daughter is not okay?
Yeah.
She said, how do I get him to realize that it's not okay to scream? And with a lot of the comments that are in there that I didn't read as well, there is this whole big thing of individuals who feel it's okay to raise their voices at those they feel are less than them or those they feel that they can control. And what I kind of saw in that, if they are willing to yell at a 6-year-old, they are more than willing to yell at their wife or more than willing to yell at really anyone else that they don't feel is doing what they need to do. And so at this point, I would say, yes, having a discussion with them first and being like, I don't feel that yelling at any point or screaming at any point is worthwhile, especially not in this situation, especially not across here. And if we're seeing this trend where this individual feels that a valid response for their feelings is to scream often, or even not very often, but scream at a certain point where it's become a trend, that needs to be resolved first.
Yeah.
I understand that some people have issues kind of going through. And like, again, like you said, it's hard to be a parent. I get it. Sometimes kids will do stuff that is super irritating. Like you're like, if you were an adult person and you did this, yeah, I'd yell at you because like, why don't you stop? But that's where being a parent, like I respect that. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. Some stuff that you don't even realize. Like you're like, hey, I've got to deal with a kid who I told them not to touch the stove that I just cleaned, and they just smudged jelly all over it. Yes, there's a point where you might want to scream at them. Valid reason to want to scream at them. But that's being a parent, realizing that, okay, yeah, this is going to happen. This is how it's going to go. And having the strength to know what to do next. Yeah. So,
or like, it's like I have a friend that like one of their kids is starting to get up there towards middle school, and they're starting to get that stage of like they're craving that independence. That like I want to be older. I want to be an adult. I want to be like these things, and it's like they're starting to push
freedom in my life.
Yes, and it's like that's starting to push boundaries, and it's like part of me is encouraging. I'm like, we both did it. I looked at them and I was just like, I've been in that stage. You've been in that stage. We can all acknowledge that we were there. So when you approach it from that perspective of like, I did this. I was in this stage. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? Why did I do this? Then you can approach it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about with the dad. Why does she love this song?
Yeah.
Why does she care about this movie? What about it is connecting her?
Yeah. And that takes effort. That's not easy.
That's the linchpin to this entire thing.
Yeah.
Is that being a good person, and I mean this genuinely, being a good person requires effort. It is not something that just comes naturally. It is not something that just happens. Because we are naturally inclined, I personally believe. I don't believe innately that everyone has the natural desire to do the right thing.
Okay.
I think deep down a lot of us have that desire to do the selfish thing, do the thing that makes it easiest for us, do like the thing that makes it easy. And that's why we have to stop for a moment and be like, no, I'm going to do what's right by everyone around me. It's the same. It's the shopping cart philosophy. It's like, it's like, do you put your shopping cart back when you go shopping? Or do you, because you don't think you should have to, or for whatever excuse you use, just leave the shopping cart in the parking lot?
That's true.
It's a small thing that takes an extra 3 seconds, but do you do it or not?
Yeah.
And so it's that moment of like, these are these little, because it takes a little bit of an extra step to be a good person. And that's what I hope our listeners take from this. I hope that's what you guys take from this as we go, is it's just like these little things, like even though these people are both deviled eggs, in my opinion, there was not a pattern of being deviled eggs.
Yeah.
It's this like, this is the thing that like, it just took one action to like reveal this true self or to reveal this thing.
Yeah.
But it can also be the other, where doing the opposite, I think, can be just as impactful. Being the person that sees this and being the only person that refuses to yell at this person who's frustrating you, and to take that deep breath, regulate yourself, and then have that conversation with them of being like, this is the consequence. This is what we talked about. This is what we're going to do. This is how we do it. I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not going to yell at you. We're not going to talk about this anymore. This is my expectation. This is where you fell on it. This is the consequence. And so it's like, that is what it's going to take for your people. And that's what I hope people get from this is, yes, let's see, like, and it's hard. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I know it's hard when, like, we look at these things and we're just like, oh, look at these awful people. Like, obviously, we would never do this.
Yeah.
But how easily we don't want to put away the shopping cart.
It's fair. I'd say it is kind of what you were saying. It is a choice to do the right thing every single day, and I'd say on almost every single situation. You have that choice, you have that opportunity, and it's the difference between being a deviled egg that we talk about on this show, about somebody who made the wrong choice there.
A really wrong choice.
Or being an incredible person who made a better choice and had a better situation. Yeah. And so whenever given those choices, remember that. Like, it's I won't say a thin line between there, but also like make the good choice, make the correct choice that goes towards there. Ask the questions, have those conversations, and think about others. It's okay to not understand what always the right thing is to do is. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be hungry. But try to make the correct decision if you can. Think about others. Think about being kind. Think about being nice.
That's really what it comes down to, is that we have to hold ourselves to a standard. Yeah. We have to be better. And that's one of the things that I will say, that being homeschooled, like, there's a lot of things that get talked about, and there's a lot of things that, some people have some way or another, but I am very proud, and like we talk about it a lot with like our work ethic. We were set at a very high expectation, like, this is the standard that I want from you. Yeah. And that was the standard that we were raised on. And now that's the standard we bring to the world, because that is what we choose to look at and choose to make that choice, even though it's very easy to, like, oh, I just don't want to. Yeah. No one else is doing it. Why do I have to? Yeah. Why do I have to go an acceptable speed limit when everyone else is speeding and flying down the highway? Why do I have to put my shopping cart back when literally everyone has left it in the thing? Yeah. Because you're choosing to be the person. You're not choosing to be everyone else. You're choosing to be that person that is above that. So wanted to leave it on a high note, and just as a challenge to people to rise above that, to rise above those impulses, to allow yourself and seek to understand even yourself. That's what I think is like the best part. Like, I will pitch therapy until the day I die, because that's the best part about therapy, is it's like you're just working with someone else as a detective on yourself, of like, what is going on with me? What do I need to fix? What do I need to figure out about me? Why I'm doing the things? And are these things okay? Yeah. And so it's like, it's just a good thing to think about, just a good thing to work on. But with that out of the way, I will talk about our socials. Oh, okay. Because if you have stories about this, and whether it was that, or if you just want to send us comments about being like, no, you guys are obviously, because neither one of you have kids, you can't comment on what it's like to be a parent.
I would agree with you.
You're welcome. I don't. I do work with kids, so I want to make it clear. I know how kids are. I just don't have them 24/7. So I'll acknowledge I don't have the full picture, but I have a little bit of the picture. All right, you're giving the camera a look. That's fine. I am welcome to criticism. I will always be. But yeah, so Facebook, I did it again. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that little ding-a-ling bell to to make sure that you get updated whenever we drop. I did it again. Whenever we release a new episode. And don't, if you have your own stories, or you have your own comments, or you have your own, if you want to confirm or deny anything that we've said on here, feel free to reach out to us at shelteredsages@gmail.com. Leave us that listener write-in tag or whatever else you want to do for that subject line, but we'd love to hear from you. And what do you think they should do in the comments? What is your let's do something light. I think we've had a lot of heavy.
What is your favorite kind of deviled egg? Or if you don't like deviled eggs, why?
I was just gonna say, like, a deviled egg or other potluck food that you might bring to a potluck.
Yeah, you could do other potluck food if you want to, but I also want to know why you don't like deviled eggs.
I'm a barbecued Smokies guy. I will bring those little barbecue Smokies.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Anything.
Yeah, potluck food. So, what are you bringing to the Sheltered Sages potluck?
Oh, that's awesome. But thank you guys so much for listening. And again, sticking with us to this heavier episode. Yeah. It was a lot. I acknowledge it. But also, again, like, good things to talk about and good things to go through. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we have time for.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next time.